Hello, angels. It's Miss Quiet Queen, and welcome back to my channel once again. Well, today I want to talk about a really serious subject, and that is what happens when you die. And the reason why I'm bringing up this subject right now is because I just came back from a funeral. My brother-in-law, who is actually my brother-in-law through marriage, my brother's brother-in-law. My brother's deceased. Many of you already know that. I've told you before. His wife's brother. We've been in the family for over 30 years. I live here in Ohio with, they live in here in Ohio. All of my brother's children, my brother has 7 children with my sister-in-law. Those are my nieces and nephews. That was their uncle. So I went to the funeral and the energy was really high and very strong. He suffered from a lot of seizures. He had a brain tumor. He's been suffering with seizures and things like that and strokes for 32 years. He was 51. And I feel like he can rest easy now. He can be comfortable. But anyway, I wanted to talk about what exactly happens when you die. I think a better question would be what happens to your physical body when it expires, because what happens to your soul or your spirit, it continues to grow. It doesn't die. Our soul, you know, comes from the source, that all, that creator. He, she, it, whatever you want to call it. I say Mother, Father, Goddess. Most of the time, I pray to Mother Goddess because we don't give enough credit to her. Because I believe when man and woman are born, God has to be male and female. Anyway, I think what happens to our soul is that we graduate and we continue to learn. We continue to soul travel when this physical body is gone. We all, like I said, come from that source, and that's why I think it's so important for us to hate, ignore prejudice. Whether you're prejudiced against someone because of their color, sexual orientation, religious preferences, Christians have a hard time accepting the fact that everyone is not Christian. I grew up in a Christian household, but I don't really consider myself Christian. I don't want to put a label on it. I am all things because my Lord, my God, my Creator, the all that created all of us, that's responsible for you and I, is everything. So why am I going to put a label on it? That's why when you look at my channel and you read some of my writings, I say that I am an eclectic spiritualist. There are things in Christianity that I can understand, and things in Buddhism that I can understand, and there are things in the atheist beliefs that I can understand. It doesn't mean that I am all or nothing. You know what I mean? I think when we die, and y'all, I look at my notes because it's so much to say and remember, and I'm still kind of, feeling the day. It's rainy, and I'm still kind of feeling that energy. And my brother-in-law, you first of all, your physical body decomposes, and your life flashes through your eyes, flashes before you is what I'm heard. This is what I've been told from people that have crossed over, from writings and books that I've read, and also from loved ones that have passed over. I talk to my parents a lot. Most of my parents are deceased. My mother died March 3rd, 2011. The day we buried her was the day my father died. Yes, my father died on the day of my mother's funeral. They weren't together. They had been divorced for over 20 years. But that was so shocking to me. Anyway, I also hear about it from my brother, who also passed away. My brother died in 1995 from suicide. He hanged himself. I kind of believe there was some foul play, in that, but I don't want to get into that right now. But he came back to me several times over the years, and my parents as well, and let me know that most people, when you pass away, you're going to a good place. Even though we're sinners and we make bad mistakes and bad choices, for the most part, rest easy because you're going to be okay. Yeah, you may be reprimanded for a few things here and there, but unless you were a really, really, really like vile person, someone who has no conscience, a narcissist or a sociopath, you don't have anything to worry about. Um, if you had a tragic end to your life, if you died because someone stabbed you 100 times, or were in a tragic car accident or a plane crash, you might feel anger at first because you want to get back at it, but you know that'll go away eventually. For some people, it just go away. They'll just go ahead and go through the light. Some folks stay on this end and haunt whoever it was that hurt them, and I guess that's your choice. But then you have to remember, you gotta go to that light eventually. Whether it's now or 1,000 years. You can stay on earth for 1,000 years haunting people, but eventually you're gonna have to answer to God and your angels. Okay. When you are pulled into the light, when the light comes to you, you'll meet loved ones. You'll start to see loved ones. You'll start to see relatives. You might see your dog that you lost as a child, and you wonder what happened to it, and it already crossed over, but you didn't know, and your dog will meet you there. You may even see relatives, ancestors that you never knew existed, that you didn't know anything about. You'll meet them. They'll come and bring you over. Now, and there was a young man, what's his name? Stephen Bankins, I can't say his last name, Bancarz. He does a spirit science a lot. If you don't know what that video is, heard of his channel, go check it out on YouTube, Spirit Science. I'm a really huge fan of his. He's a really good guy and have a lot of informative information. But a lot of my information that I've got from my loved ones that passed on, it seems that he gotten the same information. So there's no plagiarism here. It's just I've heard about the same things as well. But these relatives will come and assist you in your next phase of existence, because soul never dies, beloved. Soul never dies. Soul is a part of that one, that all, that connects us to everything. We are all connected. It's like you take this pen, and this pen is the source. And then you imagine a cord here, a cord here, a cord here. Each cord is a soul. We're all connected to that. That's why we all need to learn to hate. When young boys are young black boys, let me just say it, being shot and beat up by police officers for apparent no reason at all, except for them being black, I think everybody should be upset. All of us. Because you may come back in your next life as a young black boy and experience that. Or a family member and experience that. Okay? So, we need to be cognizant of that. That's really, really important. If you have a advanced soul, like if you've been here like, if you have an old soul, like I believe I have an old soul, they say that you may skip that step of people coming to get you and taking you over, but I don't know if I want to skip that step. I think I want to see my mom and dad and my ancestors that I've never met before. I had a grandmother come to me in a dream a few months ago. She was my grandmother on my mom's side. She was like my 5th great grandmother. And she was so pretty, and it was like I was looking at her in a movie and it was all black and white, and she was talking to me, but unfortunately I can't remember what the conversation was, but it was a very pleasant conversation. Fortunately, she wasn't there to collect me. I'm not ready to go just yet, but I know that day is coming. I can actually feel that day is coming. I'm not trying to wish that on myself, but I just can feel it. So anyway, also, you will meet your guardian angels. Remember I told you about Kenny, or your spirit guides. You will meet them however way that they want to come to you, or whatever you choose. You will meet your angel. Your angels represent God. That's exactly what, let me see if I can explain this. And I know I probably step on some toes, and some people probably really disagree with this, but when we say angel, in my heart, I say AKA God. Because God comes to us in many forms. He comes to us in a way that we can understand and will accept. If God, if the true power, this incredible power were to come to you in all of his glory, it would be too much for you and I to handle. We can't handle that much. That's like saying, oh, I want to absorb all of the information in the Akashic records. You cannot. You will perish or you will go mad because it's too much information. We can't handle that here on this physical earth. But in the spirit realm, it's a lot different. Okay? And at that time, when God, or AKA your angels, they'll look at your life and discuss. It's like you have a council. Remember I talked in other videos about you creating a cosmic signature. That means you decide when you come back, how you will come back, if you will be physically challenged, what race you will be in, if you will be a male or female, if you will be straight or gay, rich or poor. You make your cosmic signature before you come back. So when you pass away from this life, you're going to go towards the council and you create another cosmic signature if you want to come back, or if it's needed for you to come back. Now, most of us will have the option to say if we want to come back or not. Some of us may want to stay in the spirit realm so that we can help our family and generations to come. Those who I personally believe, I could be wrong in this, but this is what I'm being led to feel energetically through my spirit guides, is that people who are here in this physical life right now that are really disturbed mentally, where they would commit heinous crimes, like people who are serial killers, people who do things like repeat rapists, or even people like politicians or white collar workers who do things that disturb thousands of people. Like, remember when Enron or Exron or whatever it was, they stole all those people's money. You changed millions of people's lives. When you do things like that, I believe you will see the other side of what other people see. You will probably see darkness. You will see demons. You will be chased by demons. And I don't think it's going to last forever, but I think you need to feel that pain that you put other people through, and that's a karma that you have to pay back. So those people it may be your angels, God may tell you it's mandatory for you to come back because you have to fix that karma. Okay? And all of this that is happening, beloved, is happening to God. Let's keep that in mind. Anything we do, anything we say, whether it's good or bad, it is happening to God, because remember, we are all connected from God, from the source. It doesn't matter what you look like. I'm your sister. Doesn't matter if we have different parents. Doesn't matter that my skin is different. I'm your sister anyway. And everything is happening to each other. to God. I'm sorry, because this is what Source wanted to experience. When Source realized that it was in existence, when Source realized I am that I am. Okay, so you decide if you want to come back or not. For the most part, we'll all be given that choice. When you do cross over, you will feel a light. You will absorb the light. You can actually hear the light. Light is energy. Love is energy. You will feel it and hear it. Your soul will join with other souls of like minds, and you will feel this great sensation of love. Even those who have created mischief, a tremendous amount of mischief while they're here, eventually they will feel that love, because we're all from that Creator. And our Creator is love. Aren't we fortunate to say that we are created from love? I'm so happy to say that. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to know that. I feel like I want to bust in tears and just, I'm grateful that we are all created from that love. So, let me see. Yeah, you will feel a lot of love. I want to tell you about something that happened to me when I was a little girl. I was about 5 years old, and I had to have my tonsils taken out. My tonsils and my adenoids taken out. I don't think they really needed to take out my adenoids. I think that, at that time they were doing this to children because they needed to do some research, but they just told the parents, oh, they need their tonsils taken out. I think they just wanted something to practice on, so they had to create an idea. But anyway, it's all political. The medical industry is a business. That's all it is, plain and simple. But when I was a little girl and I had my tonsils taken out, you can imagine as a child, just, a 5-year-old child, if you leave them somewhere, they're going to wander off. It's the same way with a 5-year-old child whose soul is separated from their body. It's not time for them to go yet. So I remember seeing a human being that I called Jesus, because when I was a little girl, it was put in my head that this is what Jesus looked like. And when I saw him, he said, no, he called me by my nickname. No, Nene, no. He did like this. It's not your time yet. Go back. And I was just playing and like, wow, I'm out of my body. I can see what the doctors are doing. And I just thought it was fun. And when I saw that light, I felt so much love, and I did not want to go. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to come back. I wanted to stay there. And I told him, I want to stay here with you. This is cool. I wanted to stay, but my mother would have been really upset. So he was like, no, not yet. You have some things to do. You got to go back. And he gently just put his hands on my chest and pushed me back. And I went backwards into the light, backwards out of the light, back into my body. It was very interesting that happened. You may also, like I said, you may be one of the ones that go to the realms that's kind of dark and scary. And we don't like to think about it because we think, oh my God, that sounds like hell. And Christians especially have a really tainted information or tainted sense of belief. And I'm not putting down Christians. I apologize if you think that. This is my truth. This is what I feel. I get many of y'all that leave comments, oh, Queen, you need to, Jesus is the way, and that's evil. So what if it's evil? So what if it's dark? Haven't you heard of yin and yang? We have to embrace our dark side. I'm not saying to become a saintess how do you say that word? A devil worshiper. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you need to embrace the dark side. It makes it even, and this is why I think that the Creator created us for that reason, so it can experience um, all that life has to offer. So that's all I wanted to say about that and what happens when you die. So for the most part, angels, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't cry over me. I'm not telling you not to cry if you lost someone really close. Yeah, go ahead and cleanse yourself because you're going to miss them physically. But guess what? They're not really gone from you. Soul never dies. They're going to be around unless they choose to come back. Now, what I don't understand is when people say, call on your ancestors. I have a friend of mine, his name is Chris. He said, you call on your ancestors, set up an altar dedicated to your ancestors, and they will help you. But my thing is, what if they decided to come back? And a lot of times, I don't know if you know this, but people come back in their own family. When I first heard that, I thought, that don't sound right. But yeah, I think it's true. There's this actor, and I can't remember his name, but he plays on the hit show called The Haves and the Have Not. His name is Jim Cryer, whatever his name is on that. In real life, I don't know, but on the show, his name is Jim Cryer. I saw him on Celebrity Ghost Stories, and he said he had an older brother that died, and he believed that he was his own older brother. Stuff like that can happen. So my question is, and if anybody can answer this, please help me, because I'm not claiming to know everything because I don't. How is it that you could call on your ancestors, or I can call on my parents or my brother, but what if they're already incarnated? How can you call on them? How is it helping? Is it because time isn't linear? Is that something to do with time? I don't know. I'm trying to understand, and I just confuse myself. So anyway, that's that. That's what I wanted to tell you about. So if you have any questions, please ask, rate, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And remember, death, your physical death, is only the beginning of your true existence. Stay in the light.